Yeah. They told you what to think, not how to think. Time to wake up. Deprogrammed. Yeah. Static in my head, yeah, they feed it through the screen. Every headline scripted, every angle too clean. They sell fear, sell lies, dress it up as truth. But I see through the smoke, yeah, I'm back to the root. They don't want faith, they want blind compliance. Cancel conviction, silence defiance. But I got fire, ain't hiding in light. Truth in my chest, yeah, I came to fight. They twist what's real, redefine right. Call wrong, progress keep dimming the light. But I read between lines, I don't follow the wave. I was lost, now I'm found, yeah, I broke from the cave. I won't bow, I won't bend. Truth don't change with the trend. Through the noise, through the lies, I can finally see with open eyes. Break the signal, cut the lies. Hear the truth, it never dies. Turn it up, let it roar. We ain't playing this game no more. Deprogrammed, yeah, we rise. Faith and fire in our eyes. Stand tall, unashamed, we were lost, but now we're deprogrammed. Turn belief into a joke, make conviction feel old. But I stand on the word, yeah, solid, unshaken. Every lie they built up, yeah, it's all gonna break it. I see culture shift quick like sand in a tide. But truth don't drift, it don't run, it don't hide. They can mock, they can shout, try to bury the name. But the light breaks through, yeah, burst to the shame. This ain't rage, this is purpose and aim. We bring heat, but we ain't get the flame. Not programmed, not bought, not sold. We speak life, we don't fold. Yeah. It's more than a podcast. It's a wake-up call. Faith over fear. Truth over all. You don't gotta stay asleep. You don't gotta play along. Break the chains. Find your voice. This where you belong. It never dies. Turn it up, let it roar. We ain't playing this game no more. Deprogrammed, yeah, we rise. Faith and fire in our eyes. Stand tall, unashamed, we were lost, but now we're deprogrammed.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Deprogrammed, or welcome to Deprogrammed. I'm Joshua Cummins, the host. Coming over to you from Revolver Broadcasting over here onto Eternal Affairs to do this show. And of course, you're listening to this podcast on EA Truth Radio, brought to you by EternalAffairsMedia.com. The website again is EternalAffairsMedia.com. Be sure and check it out, man. So much content over there for you guys to check out. And of course, watch my most recent interview with Brandon Pringle. I think you'll get a lot out of it. Absolutely fantastic. Darmac, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, it's good to have you over here on this secondary secondary network for me. But yeah, got hop networks and do things here. Got a lot of things to talk about this afternoon, of course, digging into the news. And just before I tell you all about the news and the things that are going on, and we talk about those things, I got to remind folks to hit the like button, to comment, not just in the comment section on the live chat or the comment section below. 6 words or more. This will burst the algorithm and push this show out further and further. And also to share this content, because sharing is in fact caring. What is that? Yeah. And one more thing to tell you guys about is My Pillow. I got to tell you about My Pillow and how much I love My Pillow. I own 2 of them, as a matter of fact. And if you'd like to support Truthful Media Ministry, as well as Mike Lindell and Fair Elections, use promo code Eternal at mypillow.com. You can get up to 88% off depending upon what sales are running. They have many products besides just My Pillows. I think there's like robes and sheets and all kinds of stuff. Absolutely fantastic. So just go to take a look today, and maybe get a pair of my slippers. I think there's some slippers. I think he's even got shoes now. I think he's got sneakers there too. But remember to use promo code Eternal at mypillow.com. That's promo code Eternal at mypillow.com. So what are we going to be talking about this afternoon? Well, let me give you some overarching things. We're going to be talking about America 250. The celebration is still going, guys. I think some people forgot that the celebration was still going. As a matter of fact, as at the time of this live show, it'll actually be, I believe it's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. There'll be an IndyCar 250 Grand Prix race at the nation's capital. So that's going to be so cool. So those will be broadcast on Fox Sports. So for those of you who don't have immediate access to Fox Sports, talk to me on my Discord, huh? I help you be able to still view the race if you want to watch. Send you to a place where you can still watch it. And of course, we'll be talking about Trump sounding the alarm in the South, in South Carolina. He said, "You're going to lose everything we've done." He's warning them about the direction of the state if they don't get Darlene Graham Nordine to replace her late brother Lindsey, his brother, right? And we're going to be talking about J.D. Vance. He's being critical of Abdul Saeed over Sharia remarks. He says that's not my grandpa's Democratic Party. We'll dig into that. We're going to dig into the Carmelo Anthony case. Turns out there's some more details on that have come out recently. We're going to be talking about the ballroom again, because big Supreme Court ruling there. And we're going to be talking about how Darth Vader himself went to visit a city council here recently. He's in favor of surveillance of the citizens. So let's get into it, shall we? Of course, in order to get into it, we've got to go over to the news desk. There we are. And now that we're at the news desk, let me see if I can get this to work correctly. Sometimes it doesn't want to work for me. There we go. Let's get into this first topic of the day. Washington to host Freedom 250 Grand Prix. Here's what you need to know. The event is expected to draw hundreds of thousands of spectators and potentially more than 1 million viewers on site while being broadcast on Fox Sports. The nation's capital is set to host an IndyCar race on August 23rd, taking drivers past national landmarks such as the U.S. Capitol. The Grand Prix is part of the celebrations commemorating America's 250th anniversary. Go America! The event, the first of motor racing event held in Washington, is expected to draw hundreds of thousands of spectators and potentially more than 1 million on-site viewers, with coverage airing once again on Fox Sports. Hotel rooms are sold out already. according to Bud Denker, president of Penske Corporation, which is the parent company of IndyCar. So they probably, I would say, they probably comped quite a few rooms out to Penske employees. They tend to get to go like every race. I parked cars when Indy 500 came to town, and here, well, Indianapolis is just north of where I live, and so I parked cars there, and nearly every person that we parked was like, "Yeah, here's my Penske pass." I'm like, "Oh, you're a Penske employee? Yeah, okay, right." It's like the whole parking lot that we were at. It was a couple hundred of them, easy, and that was just the one parking lot. So, um, but all the Penske employees usually get comp tickets and hotel rooms to go to these different events. But it says the event will bring 100 million in economic benefits to Washington. He told Fox 5. About 60% of ticket holders are from Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. Others are from the East Coast, while 20% are from around the world. So this is getting global attention. I think this is really cool that we're going to have an IndyCar race, um, a Grand Prix in our nation's capital. Now, does this count for any points, or does this become part of their season? Maybe, maybe not. I didn't see anything about it being a part of the IndyCar season. I think it's just kind of a one-off event to kind of just be a celebration. So that they'll race, somebody will win, and it'll be a big fun thing that they can do. And maybe they start doing this every year. I think that would be really cool to do a Freedom Festival America, IndyCar race on the nation's capital. A lot of revenue for the nation's capital, well, and for the country. Yeah, I think this is a great thing to be able to celebrate America more than just July 4th, because July 4th it came and went, and it's like, man, but I still love America. I still I think it's really cool that we have our 250th anniversary this year, and um, you know, let's keep celebrating it. Let's keep celebrating it. So I don't see why anybody would be opposed to this. This is really cool. Um, yeah, I don't think that there's a whole lot more I could say on that, except it's just awesome, right? Go America! Yeah, and that was that article. If you're looking for the full article, it is available on the Epic Times or Epoch Times, depending upon how you say it. But that's where I got that. Now, my second article here um, comes from Red State, and it says Trump sounds the alarm in South Carolina. You're going to lose everything we've done. Let me get this. There we go. Want everything to match up, don't we? But President Trump traveled to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on Friday to stump for Senator Darlene Graham Nordine, sister of the late Senator Lindsey Graham. With just days to go before a Republican runoff that will decide who carries GOP banner into November. Graham Nordine, who is serving out the last few months of her brother's term, faces Representative Ralph Norman in Tuesday's contest. One of the things the president addressed at the top of his speech was a comment made by Graham Nordine during a candidate debate earlier in the week. When asked by the moderator a question about Taiwan, she answered honestly, "I'm not that informed on national security," she said. President Trump offered his take on that answer, saying that while Lindsey Graham was a foreign relations guy, his sister would be focusing on issues related to affordability. That's more her wheelhouse. The president also talked about the importance of keeping control of both chambers of Congress, saying that a Democrat takeover would mean reopened borders, increased taxes, and more sham impeachment hearings targeting him and his administration. I mean, we'd have a replay of everything just leading up to 2020, wouldn't we? If we don't end up with another shamdemic, is that what we're going to call it? We're going to call it the shamdemic. They did because they want to do anything and everything to tarnish our president's image, including making sure that people die just to get him out of office. He's that consequential to them. But his take on the Democratic Party circa August 2026, they're communists, they're radical left lunatics. Uh, and one of those lunatic Democrats, Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed, got some special attention for his questionable ties to Muslim extremists. There were, of course, many lighthearted moments, including President Trump calling his trademark song YMCA the gay national anthem. He's a comedian, man. The night was classic Trump, part campaign rally and part freewheeling comedy routine. He was in Myrtle Beach to make sure Republicans and his candidate in particular hold on to Lindsey Graham's seat. The midterm elections are only 74 days away. In political time, that is like 2 seconds. You guys, like I said, if you want to read a little more about that, Red State's got some nice video clips and things of that the sort from the speech. I won't play each and every single one of them because it tends to kind of chew up a lot of the time. We just want to talk about how cool this is that the president is out there campaigning for the senators and things like that. Some presidents, a lot of presidents, wouldn't do this. They'll sit in their office and say, well, try to just keep securing for our team, But Trump, no. He's out there. He's with the people. He loves to be with the people. And do I think that Darlene Graham Nordine is a good replacement for Lindsey? She's got to be better than Lindsey. Not to speak ill of the dead, but Lindsey was he was a little in love with the war machine, and so Darlene not so much. And the fact that she'll be able to focus a little more on the things that are within her wheelhouse, the things that are a little different, affordability. We need more senators that can focus on affordability. We're regular people. Regular people need to be able to afford things, and so I think it'd be good to have some senators that are focused on can the American people afford these things, and can we do something? Can the government step in to do something to make sure that things stay affordable? One of those things, if I could pull on the senators' ears, would be, hey, can we do something? I don't know if there is any kind of levers that the government can currently pull to influence the bring down of fuel prices, because my other job requires me to drive a lot, and so fuel is vital to that. The price of fuel can cut into my profits big time, and it makes it that much harder for me to make any money. A lot of times I'm giving up as much as 30% of everything that I take in every day, and that's if I do a full 8-hour day. I'm still, we're not even talking taxes yet. We're talking just overhead, you know. And I know if you run your own business, you're going to be giving up a certain amount of overhead or whatever. But just fuel, not even talking about like snacks and drinks or whatever, just to kind of get throughout the day. But just fuel can eat up about 30% of my profits on any given day. So I'd like to see them bring fuel prices down. But I think at least in the short term, she's a good solution. We'll have to see. Let's get her in there and see. I mean, they thought enough of her to suggest her for his temporary replacement. And if Trump's backing her, it's got to be at least halfway decent. I mean, I didn't always agree with Lindsey, but there was, he voted for the team often enough that I didn't absolutely have absolute disdain for the guy. I just disagreed with him on the Warhawk issues because he was addicted to war. That's the best way I can put it. Um, yeah, let's move into our third article here. Um, of course, you have uh, Vice President J.D. Vance in the news here recently. He unloaded on Abdul El Sayed as well over over Sharia remarks, saying that's not my grandpa's Democratic Party. This article comes from the New York Post. Vice President J.D. Vance put Abdul El Sayed at the center of his attack on the modern Democratic Party, pointing to the Michigan Senate nominee's past remarks linking criticism of Sharia law to white supremacy as evidence that the party has abandoned its working class roots. Um, Vance delivered the remarks Friday at the Cleveland Cliffs Middletown Works steel plant in his Ohio hometown. As neighboring Michigan gears up for one of the midterm's most competitive Senate races. El Sayed is facing Republican former Representative Mike Rogers in a contest that could help determine control of the Senate. Vance spoke about his late grandfather, who worked as a welder for 40 years and voted Democrat because he believed it was the party of the Union men, which that's still a common belief with a lot of union workers. Although if you're listening right now or listening on a recording um, and you happen to stumble upon this, I'll let you know right now that is no longer the party of the working class. It's the Republican Party, and it's very clear if you pay any attention at all. But Vance argued the Democratic Party has strayed from its working class identity. And of course, it has. He said this is the Democrat Party of graduate students rather than the union and non-union workers who make this facility run, said Vance. It is sometimes actually hard to understand what these modern Democrats actually stand for. But look at what they say. You could take a look at their actions too. But he said, pay close attention, and they'll leave these little hints, like mints on your pillow, of course, nasty, disgusting mints, of what they actually care about. Vance then turned his attention to El Sayed, the son of Muslim Egyptian immigrants. He once argued not too long ago the criticisms of Sharia law were rooted in white supremacy, Vance said. He goes, I'd love to go back in time and tell my papa that there is, I think it's Papa, his grandfather, there is a man who claims to stand for working people who says not only should we have Sharia law, but if you criticize it, you're a white supremacist. That's not my grandpa's Democratic Party, my friend. Um, Man, opposing Sharia law, that's racist. That's white supremacy. Come on. Um, yeah, I agree, Darmac. Gotta get Iran over with before the fuel prices are going to come down, unless we hit the oil reserve. Yeah, if we dive into the oil reserve, we'll be doing well. It's a good band aid in a very very short term, but if it's more than a quarter, it'll hurt us really bad. Which the Biden administration, as we saw, they did it for longer than um, and a quarter, and it hurt our reserves pretty bad. So yeah, it's one of those things where I talked about this off Faith in Politics last night about it, like a Dutch door. Like it's like, oh yeah, that'd be great, but it's still gonna hurt us here. But then if you don't do it, then we're gonna still gonna hurt financially. We're gonna still have higher prices. So one way or the other, we're still getting whomped. It's danged if you do, danged if you don't. Um, but yeah, if I mean, I know that the current Iranian leader said publicly on Al Jazeera he wants to get things over with. That's what he said publicly. Now, what they're doing in private, we know that that's always one of those things where they say something in public, they turn around and shoot more missiles. But for right now, That's what they're saying. They said even the Iranian people are tired, and this guy that's now in charge is saying, mm, I think we're ready to make a deal. So I'm hoping that'll close out and we can bring fuel prices down. But to talk further here about El Said criticized the 2010 ballot measure known as State Question 755, which sought to amend the state constitution to ban courts from considering Sharia law in their decisions. The measure was approved by 70% of voters, but ultimately was blocked by federal courts. Um, yeah, we need to get the idea of Sharia law out. It needs to be exited, stage left, stage right, wherever it needs to go. It needs to be just gone. If you think that Sharia law is so fantastic, go to a Middle Eastern country. We don't have time for it here. It's completely incompatible with anything America. It just does not work for us. I think about Dearborn, Michigan, and how it's just been overtaken. And I watched Nick Shirley go there on a couple videos he's got out, and he's shown how this Islamic takeover is a real thing. I know that people are worried about the DSA, and it is a threat. Don't get me wrong, it is a threat. But it's a baby wolf next to the threat of Islam. Islam is the real wolf at the door. Islam is the real wolf at the door. They're just using the DSA as a way of, yeah, sure, we like LGBT. They're lying. It's in the Quran. Right, Mac, we established that it's in the Quran. They're lying so that because it benefits them, and once they get enough power consolidated in by using this DSA party platform, the real devil comes out. That mask comes off, and before you know it, Sharia law will spread like wildfire. Islam, the religion spread by the sword, right? It's not like Christianity. Christianity doesn't need a sword to be spread, and it's I wouldn't even consider it a religion. I think it's just a political ideology masked as a religion. They mask it as a religion, but it's a demonic political ideology. And if there is that one world religion at the end that it's talking about, that is the ultimate evil, I believe that Islam will be that one world religion. Because the Bible talks about it. There being no choice. You're going to take this mark. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. What other religion forces people into it? I haven't seen another religion in this world that I've learned about that forces people into it. Only Islam. So this guy, if we keep seeing more and more of these Muslims getting office, it spells the end. It spells the end of America. Plain and simple. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail, get this idea out, and I think Sharia law needs to be banned in this country because it's incompatible with our Constitution. It's incompatible with America as a country from the ground up. And if I had my way, if I had my say in the court systems, I would push for a ban on Sharia law. So I think JD Vance is correct on more than one front. And well, El Said, man, this guy said that he thought that America deserved 9/11. That's how evil this man is. That next, you see him right there. That JD Vance is kind of got his finger kind of pointing towards. Not he what that picture wasn't there then, but you see what I'm talking about. This El Said fellow. He thinks that America deserved 9/11. That's how evil that man is. and he's linked to co-conspirators. Him, and so is Mom Donnie in New York. Seems kind of funny that they're running for these offices, and then and they but their ideologies say that they want to tear it all down. They want to bring in Sharia law. Doesn't sound like a socialist platform anymore. It sounds like they just want power. They're saying the quiet part out loud, and the American people just aren't listening. They're just like, oh yeah, socialism. That sounds good. I like some free stuff. If you're voting for this El Sayed fella because you want free stuff, you're a fool. You're a fool. Plain and simple. It's it's it, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. All right. Let's talk about this young man for a little bit. There's new light that's been shined on the Carmelo Anthony case. I know some of you may be tired of hearing about this case, but there's been so many people on the internet advocating for this awful human being. Oh no, no, he didn't mean to stab a man to death. You have an altercation with somebody, even if you think that let's grant, let's even go as far as to grant that Metcalf was Austin Metcalf was a racist. Let's just say for their sake of argument that Metcalf was a racist. You don't stab them to death. You can call him a fool. You can call him names or whatever, but then you walk away. I've encountered plenty of racists in my life. You know what I did? I walked away. You know why? They're not worth your time. If he was truly what his parents claimed him to be, and what all these TikTokers and things of the sort claim Carmelo Anthony to be, he's such a good young man, then he would have walked away. He wouldn't have been carrying a knife in his backpack, and he would have never even thought about going and getting it. It's almost like it was premeditated. It's all it. I don't know that it was. I can't make that claim, but allegedly it would seem to be premeditated. And here's why. If we get into this New York Post article, Carmelo Anthony to shoot the school up in shocking text kept from jury in Austin Metcalf murder trial. Carmelo Anthony talked about shooting up his school in a trove of disturbing texts that a backroom deal kept out of the courtroom during his June murder trial, prosecutors said on Friday. One quote says in the text, "I'm going to shoot the school up tomorrow." That's what this kid said. That's just one in a trove of texts. Anthony wrote that in 2023. Text prosecutors revealed in Collin County, Texas, during a hearing to determine if Austin Metcalf's convicted killer will be granted a new trial, according to WFAA. So that, parole denied, right? More threatening texts, reports of stalking by an ex-girlfriend, and Anthony's violent tendencies were also apparently swept under the rug. But as part of what was described as a gentleman's agreement, quotes, between the defense and prosecution, skeletons in victim Austin Metcalf's closet also weren't brought up, including a juvenile criminal history involving racist graffiti, prosecutors said. Now, that's where I could say, okay, we can grant what the preconceived notion that maybe Metcalf was a racist, or at least he did. At the very least, people knew that he did this graffiti thing, and I mean, kids do a lot of stupid stuff. I know when I was a kid, I said a lot of stupid stuff. We all said stupid stuff when we were kids. All said and did a lot of stupid stuff. If you didn't physically harm anybody, he'll grow out of it. Hopefully. But the reason they kept that out is because they wanted to keep it clean. They said, because if you start admitting this, then you got to admit this, and you got to admit this, and it just layers up, which I think is fair when you're thinking about the case on a ground level, right? So it says this deal was to keep things clean. Prosecutor Bill um, Werski said from the stand as Anthony's new attorney, Russell Wilson, grilled him about the alleged uh, shadow docket. Wilson claims corrupted that claims that corrupted the June proceedings. But the same agreement kept a mountain of shocking evidence from seeking the light of day, including texts from Anthony threatening violence and a photo of a knife he sent to his ex girlfriend, who told a vice principal that he was stalking her hours before the fatal stabbing. WFAA and other local outlets reported prosecutors saying this. None of that was shown to the jury in the June trial, in which he was found guilty of first degree murder and sentenced to 35 years in prison. I think it should be life, but you know, I guess because he was a little bit younger. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't do life, but I think it's just because they didn't want more rioting, because they were already tore stuff up because of it. I think it was going to happen anyway. But Carmelo Anthony appealed the conviction and filed for a new trial on Friday. Wilson grilled prosecutor Bill Werski and Anthony's former attorneys about their 30-year relationship with the unofficial dealings meant to, in Werski's words, keep things clean. Keeping things clean meant keeping the lid on Anthony's long history of violent tendencies and threatening behavior, which apparently drove his parents to send him to a special program at LSU for kids with behavioral issues. So he had a history of being problematic, of stalking people, of threatening people. In exchange for prosecutors not using certain evidence against Anthony in court, the defense lawyers agreed not to bring up victim Austin Metcalf's juvenile criminal history, which included spray painting graffiti of an upside down cross, the N word, KKK, kill all black people, and Hell Hitler, uh, Houston Public Media reported. And so, I know I've seen all kinds of young people. I'm friends with people now that said things when we were younger, that spray painted things when we were younger, that they hated white people. They didn't want, but they never physically harmed anybody. They just said things and spray painted things, and but they never physically touched anybody. That's the difference. This kid did. He did more than touch. He did more than stalk. Threatened, got in the face of, and then murdered. So it says Metcalf and his twin brother were sentenced to 12 months probation for the incident, and the video from Metcalf's phone showed the use of more slurs and for pervasive picture of a racist outlook. HPM reported Howard as saying, he said, I offered the agreement. Worski said, according to WFAA TV, let's stay away from historical character and stick to the facts. What happened under the tent? Which is what is pertinent to the case. What happened under the tent? Because we don't know, because they were from different areas, right? We don't know that they knew each other in any other capacity other than they met at the track meet. And from all reports, it seems like they didn't. The deal kept Anthony from taking the stand himself, argued Wilson. Werski had accused defense attorney Mike Howard of breaking their deal when he brought up Anthony's grades and chess hobby in opening arguments, which opened the door to questions about his personal life. Should Anthony testify? Howard wrote in an affidavit obtained last month by the Dallas News. In a legal victory for Anthony, the judge who presided over his trial was removed from the appeal on Wednesday. Retired District Court Judge Michael Chitty was then assigned to consider the motion from Anthony's attorney asking for a retrial. Anthony's attorneys asked the judge for Judge John Roach to be removed in part because of a TV interview with Roach said jurors got it right when they delivered the guilty verdict. So it's just going to be ongoing, but ultimately struck down. No retrial ordered as of yet. So hopefully there is no retrial. I think that 35 years is not long enough. It doesn't go far enough because this young man's a murderer. Straight up. You don't. If let's and like I said, let's say that by all accounts that they were saying racial things to each other. Okay, never worth murder. Just walk away. Yeah. Well, they misquote judges all the time too, Darmac. You know it. They misquote them all the time. And but they got to stir it up. They got to make it. They got to make it about. It's got to be about race. It's got to be about race. It's got to be about race. Remove race. One kid murdered another. End of story. You could add in all the other details you like, but um, and this is going to sound millennial cliche, but at the end of the day, one kid murdered another, regardless of what judges said, regardless of what any other case details are, because the choice was to walk away. Well, you bruised your ego. Oh, get over it. You know, somebody called you a name and said you better not step up and all this other stuff. So what? So what? You know, I was an angry young man. I did a lot of very stupid things, very violent things. But murdering someone because they may or may not have said something to you? Nah, not for words. Not for words. Yeah, he never should have went over that tent. He was definitely Darmac. He never should have went over that tent, and he was looking to cause confrontation because he had no business. He had his school had its own tent. Go to your tent. Shut up. Go home. Whether you want, I don't know if he won or lost. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Like I said, you could always remove all the details and strip it down to what was the results. One kid murdered another. Let's talk about a lighter topic, shall we? Something that I talked about last episode of this show. Now they had stopped the construction of the ballroom, but now, according to Breitbart, Trump thanks Supreme Court for allowing White House ballroom construction to continue. Um, President Donald Trump thanked the Supreme Court on Friday after Chief Justice John Roberts allowed construction on his $400 million White House ballroom to continue. He says, we are grateful for the decision of the United States Supreme Court, Trump said in a post on Truth Social. Roberts on Friday cleared construction to proceed on Trump's $400 million White House ballroom while the Supreme Court reviews the administration's emergency appeal. Trump said the project will be called the military/ballroom complex. This is important to national security and will be the greatest of its kind. As a matter of fact, I put that in all caps, so it's the greatest of its kind. Um, he also said presidents have sought such a facility for 150 years, and the military has wanted one for a century. Um, it is something that presidents have wanted, and the military has wanted it for 100 years. Their wish will soon be fulfilled. Construction is under budget and ahead of schedule, Trump wrote. So he may get some time out of it. He was saying it may not be done until after his administration is finished, but he may get some use out of it. He may get at least one time ordeal to have since it's ahead of schedule like this, even with the hiccups of being held up for a little bit. But Roberts' decision came just hours before lower court rulings were set to halt above ground construction. The one page order will stay in effect until the Supreme Court takes further action. It did not explain the Chief Justice's reasoning or say when the court would rule again. So I think they'll have the construction will be long since finished by the time the Supreme Court were to even think about rolling back to this case. The order placed on hold Washington judges' ruling that the project could not proceed without approval from Congress. Roberts issued the order because he handles emergency appeals from cases filed in the nation's capital. And this is we're thankful that Roberts decided to stay because he told him, it was his big announcement recently. I'm staying for one more term. I'm staying for one more term. So thank God for that. But the Trump administration has won several cases on the Supreme Court's emergency docket, although the justices have rejected some of Trump's policies after conducting a full review. Administration lawyers argue that the president has broad authority to make changes to the White House and other federal properties. They also say the ballroom must be completed because of national security needs, which it does. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see the ballroom completed. I'd like to see people be able to use the presidents be able to use it, military be able to use it. This could make for a grand new bunker for any future presidents where they can stay safe, but also hold large events at the White House without having to put up a tent. Wouldn't it be? It's like, let me think about that. Having people over to your house, and you're the guy who, let's say you're the neighborhood committee guy, right? You're the head of the neighborhood committee, and this is coming back much farther down than President of the United States, right? But you have all these people coming from other neighborhood committees, but they're coming to your house. And every time they come by for a big event, you've got to put up this big tent out in your yard because you don't have enough space in your home. Now let's translate that to the President of the United States, arguably the most powerful person in the world, and the house that he's in during his presidency, or sometime in the future, maybe. The house that the president's in can't have a place to hold functions. We've got to continue to put up a tent. Not secure, way less secure than the hotel that still got someone ran past security during the press. What was that thing called? It's escaping me right now. But where the press got to basically. For a night, they rubbed Trump's face in all the things that they had, all of their conspiracies and how much they hated him, pretty much, for about 4 hours. But he was cordial, and he landed some jokes, even in a room full of snakes. But but being able to hold the functions with world leaders, and they can go in and be at a secure location. And even if, like, let's say the ballroom needed to be evacuated, well, then there's these rooms that have been built underneath that, I don't know, could be a safe place to put these world leaders until such a time. Why wouldn't we want this for our nation's capital? Why would you fight this? And it's paid for. The taxpayer isn't paying for it. Why would they argue about all the things that the taxpayer ain't paying for, but then when it comes to time to, well, we want this social program, we want this social program, we want to make more taxes happen, but we're worried about getting free rent. No, you don't get free rent. And we can, if we bring taxes down, you can afford your rent. It's plain and simple. You don't need all these programs. And this is paid for. Democrats frustrate me. They do. I get their hearts are bleeding for social issues, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's paved with good intentions. This is paid for. No, and it's been money that's freely given. They didn't say anything about any strings attached, did they? I think that they're got military strings attached to it now because we have the the a few floors underneath it, but the military has is its hands are in just about everything anyway. So I don't know that it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely better than spending my tax dollars. And I do like I do 100% support the idea that our future presidents will have a place to safely hold events and collect, a collective place for world leaders to come visit when they come here, instead of putting them all in a tent. Just doesn't make sense that our nation's capital should have to put up a tent every time it wants to hold an event. It's kind of sad, really. We're America, you know. Let's talk about this. This is my favorite by far. This story hit the news desk over here. I believe it was last evening, but I watched a video on it first, and then I started digging up to find this news story. And this is from Breitbart. This is what the Emperor needs. Darth Vader shows up at a San Diego City Council meeting to mock the flock cameras. A man dressed as Darth Vader appeared before the San Diego City Council on Wednesday to deliver a Star Wars-themed mocking endorsement of the city's contested flock surveillance cameras. The New York Post reports that the costumed visitor addressed the Public Safety and Livable Neighborhoods Committee as officials debated the city's growing network of camera surveillance. Council members referred to him only as Darth Vader as he took his turn at the microphone. They didn't ask his actual name. There's a video clip here. I'm not for sure how long it is. Let me see how long it is before it, because if it's too long, I don't want to play the whole thing. 34 seconds. Yeah, we can play that. Let me just get through this ad, and we'll share this video with you. I thought this was absolutely hilarious. They actually referred to him as Darth Vader. He identifies as Darth Vader, I guess. Wait. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh, closed captions on. There we go. All right.
To look at. Thank you. It's been a great day. Love to all.
Thank you. Darth Vader?
The Emperor is a fan of flock, and we must continue utilizing flock technologies so that we can follow and surveil the rebel scum as they move from playground to playground, from playground to pool, from pool to gymnasium, because we all know that the flock cameras are not only following the license plate readers, they are following children. They are following children in parks and gymnasiums, and we need this. I need this so I can stalk my ex-girlfriend. Also, it should be known that the people of this town, the pools that want their storm drains cleared, they should not have their storm drains cleared. Because in order to do that, we will have to raise taxes. And how will the people trust this city council when this city council continues to vote for surveillance technology that imprisons them? Miss Campbell, you must work on your Jedi mind tricks. Do it like this. And when you do it, Make sure that when you're double speaking them into telling them that police services have become more humanitarian, make sure that you don't emphasize the detail that you put a ban on camping, you put a ban, you made criminalizing homelessness illegal, and that is why.
Dude was crazy, but there should be a ban on hope. But he has had some other wild things to say. But the flock camera thing, I'm on board. I'm on board. get the sign. The guy's sign said, "Get the flock out of here." Yeah, I think that this is a bipartisan issue, right? I think your everyday citizen is like, let's remove the flock cameras. Let's get rid of them. Let's get them out of here. Let's boot them. Let's boot the flock cameras. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what about all that other stuff that old Darth Vader had to say, and maybe I don't see how Darth Vader would want to advocate for homelessness. It doesn't seem on brand. I think he would. That's one of the things I don't think the Empire would look forward to. But anyway, I would like to see the flock cameras disappear. That'd be absolutely fantastic. So I can get behind him on that. That is an issue that we will have bipartisan support for sure. And he's got my vote on that. My vote for that anyway. That particular issue. Yeah, and that's what I've got for you guys today. Let me see who's streaming. Yeah, get you over there to AC. Get you over there to AC. You can actually hear him probably. There we go. Get that going, and then I gotta open it up over here. It's a whole like step process here because it. Yeah, I wasn't prepared enough, apparently. So just before I confirm that raid, I want to tell you guys, as I always do, stay in trouble. Stay in trouble. Why do I tell you to stay in trouble? Because if you have Christ in your hearts, you will in fact be in trouble with the world. The world doesn't want you living under God's grace. That's your salvation first and foremost, and I pray that each and every one of you has that. I really do. The world doesn't want you reading God's word, praying to him, having a relationship with him, or going out and telling others about Jesus. So I want to encourage you to do all that anyway. Stay in trouble. Follow Jesus. Love you guys. And if I don't see you over here in a couple of weeks, you can catch me over on my home network of Revolver Broadcasting, Monday morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Bye for now, y'all.
Yeah. They told you what to think, not how to think. Time to wake up. Deprogrammed. Yeah. Static in my head, yeah, they feed it through the screen. Every headline scripted, every angle too clean. They sell fear, sell lies, dress it up as truth. But I see through the smoke, yeah, I'm back to the root. They don't want faith, they want blind compliance. Cancel conviction, silence defiance. But I got fire, ain't hiding that light. Truth in my chest, yeah, I came to fight. They twist what's real, redefine right. Call wrong, progress keep dimming the light. But I read between lines, I don't follow